Welcome to another newscast of Chemistry Worldwide Network with Eloise Montiel, Andrea Garcia, the chemist, Dr. Gabriela Figueroa, historian Adriana Canawati, and the handsome news reporter Roger Rubio.
Breaking news! We've just been informed about the in-state homicides inflicted by two 47-year-old women, Luciana Stark and Caroline Trevino, nicknamed the Elderberries. These women are now being convicted for the murder of all their male relatives, totaling a number of 11 men. Their autopsies reveal a significant amount of arsenic, cyanide, and strychnine in their bodies. It is known that these women intoxicated their relatives with all these poisonous substances that are mixed to make up the elderberry wine, hence the name, the Elderberries. Their reason, it is unlike quote. Too many men means a lot of food to cook. We are too old for that. To maybe prevent this from happening to you, we will provide you with further information about these deadly substances in the next segment. We're now with you, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you, Eloise. Now it's time for chemistry class. Now, chemistry lovers, let me introduce you to the king of poisons, the element arsenic. Saint Albertus Magnus is said to be the discoverer of this element, but it was used ever since the ancient Greek times. It is located in period 4 in group 15. Arsenic's atomic number is 33, its atomic mass is 75 grams per mole, and it has 5 valence electrons, with the electron configuration shown on screen.
Now, watch out everyone for the most common type of arsenic, gray arsenic. It is a brittle, shiny, metal-looking solid. When arsenic is heated, it turns directly into a gas through the process of sublimation. Arsenic has metal and non-metal properties. It forms the compound arsenic trioxide through combustion. It is a poisonous white gas, sometimes with a garlic odor. It also reacts to form arsenis and arsenic acid. Of course, all of these substances poisonous. Cyanide can be an odorless gas or a crystalline substance. Strychnine can be a white, bitter, and odorless powder. Now, you may be wondering, where is arsenic, cyanide, and strychnine found? Well, arsenic is mostly found as a compound, almost never as a pure element. Naturally, it is commonly found in the minerals arsenoprite, orpiment, and realgar. It exists in soil, plants, animals, and even diminutive amounts in human body. In the Earth's crust, arsenic is only 5 parts per million. Cyanide, on the other hand, is produced naturally by organisms like bacteria and insects, and plants like many vegetables during the process of metabolization. Strychnine is mainly found in the plant Strychnus nux vomica, also called the poison nut. The most common use of these substances, as the elderberries show us, is poisoning. Even if they have a bad reputation of being a deadly poison, they are commonly used. In the past, for example, arsenic was used to treat syphilis. It is now found in alloys, like the ones in lead storage batteries on cars. It is also found in pesticides and wood preservatives. Gallium arsenide, a compound, is used to make light-emitting diodes, commonly known as LEDs, used in electronic devices. Cyanide is used to make blue dye in the manufacturers of many products as a fumigant and as a chemical to kill people, like the Germans did. Strychnine, in the past, it was used to treat illnesses, but now it is used as a pesticide to kill rats. It is also found in drugs like cocaine and heroin. Besides death, all these substances have other effects on us and the planet. Arsenic is now found in greater parts of the environment due to human activity. Plants and fish easily absorb this substance, in most cases disturbing the food chain. Not only animals are at risk, but of course, us humans. I must note that 12 to 25 micrograms of this substance are essential to our bodies. In excess, however, it can lead to horrible symptoms, diseases, and death. Cyanide is not very prominent in the surface environment, but remains in groundwater for a longer time. It is toxic for almost all organisms, but lethal doses vary. Cyanide is part of our daily lives, but a lethal dose can kill us in minutes. Strychnine also leads to rapid death. I will give you more details about the health impacts of these substances. For that is Dr. Gabriela Figueroa up next, who is going to tell you more about the effects of arsenic, cyanide, and strychnine in our bodies. We are now here with Dr. Gabriela Figueroa. Doctor, the chemist now told us about all about the element arsenic. Can you tell us if everyone is exposed to it?
Yes, of course. Everyone is exposed to it because small amounts of arsenic can be found in air, water, and even the foods that we eat every day.
We know it is poisonous. What amount of it we must ingest for it to be lethal?
For it to be lethal, it has to be from 2 to 20 milligrams.
And what are the symptoms that the poison can cause?
You can feel fatigue, confusion, disorientation, an increased amount of saliva, vomiting, and your vomit can be green with yellow and even blood in it. And that can be some symptoms.
And after we know we have those symptoms, how do you know exactly if you have arsenic in our bodies?
Okay, so when you go to the doctor, you can have your urine and blood tested to measure the amount of arsenic levels on your urine and blood.
And after we are diagnosed with it, what are the treatments we receive?
The most common treatments that are used are the removal of arsenic by dialysis and the replacement of red blood cells.
Doctor, we also know that the victims ingested elderberry wine, which also contains cyanide and strychnine. What can you tell us about these poisonous substances?
For strychnine and cyanide to be lethal, it must be from 150 to 200 milligrams of strychnine and cyanide. So for strychnine, some effects can be the victim can be restless, apprehensive, hyperactive before getting convulsions which can lead to death. And the cyanide, it can cause vomiting, nausea, convulsions, and it can also lead to death.
Well, thank you, doctor, for all that information. This was Dr. Gabriela Figueroa informing us about the effects these poisonous substances have on our bodies and how we can diagnose them and then treat them. However, in the past, this was not possible. We are now going with historian Adriana Kanawati, who is going to inform us more about these past cases.
You might be shocked by the crime the elderberries, or so they are called, have committed. But let me tell you this. Arsenic poisoning has been the cause of death for ages now. Only back then, we didn't have the resources to discover it or diagnose it. Recently, they found evidence of arsenic poisoning in some of our historic figures. It is believed that it has been the cause of death for many of them, and they were mistaken back then. One of the most famous deaths was that of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte was believed to have died from a severe stomach ulcer that had turned cancerous. It was not until the 1960s that Professor Hamilton Smith was able to get a hold of the emperor's hair. This hair had been passed down for generations and it was sold in auctions, and the owners of it have passed away by now. By that time, that professor was able to get a hold of it. He thoroughly examined them and proved that there were small quantities of arsenic in them. Jane Austen was another historic figure who was confirmed died from arsenic poisoning. Once again, the poisoning was discovered by examining the locks of hair of the writer. Many people believe the famous Simón Bolívar died from tuberculosis, but it was not until further studies granted by the Venezuelan embassy that the cause of Simón Bolívar's death was found. Bolívar, like the others previously stated, died from arsenic poisoning as well. Most of this information wouldn't be out today if it wasn't for Venezuela's Hugo Chavez. He insisted that Bolívar's death had to be poisoning and not tuberculosis. Other historic figures known till this day that have died from some sort of poisoning are Eva Braun, Adolf Hitler's wife, and Erwin Rommel. It is believed that these two committed suicide by swallowing a cyanide pill. As you can see, the elderberries are not the first ones to commit such crimes. For more information, enter our network's official website. Back to you, Eloise.
Thank you, historian Kanawati, for informing us with all those interesting past cases. Now we have news reporter Roger Rubio, who is going to update us on new cases of arsenic poisoning.
As we can see throughout the years, humanity has been dealing with a great problem. This problem is called arsenic poisoning. We have different types of arsenic poisoning. It can be intentional arsenic poisoning, accidental intentional poisoning, and natural arsenic poisoning. There is this case of a 42-year-old man who was brought to a hospital 90 minutes after intentionally ingesting contents of arsenic poison. He had abdominal pain and vomited frequently. In 2010, we have another case of intentional arsenic poisoning. It was in the church gathering that resulted with the death of 5 people, including an elderly gentleman. At first, the forensics thought it was because of the leftover of a sandwich made the day before, but after a big investigation, they found out that it was because some member of the church contaminated the coffee with a arsenic poison. In 2010, up to 77 million people were exposed to toxic levels of arsenic contaminated from the water in Bangladesh. There have also been cases of accidental arsenic poisoning. In 2005, 969 cases of non-pesticide arsenic-containing substances were reported to the Association of Pollution Control Center. Thank you for your attention. For further information, visit www.chemistryworldwidenetwork.org. Back to you, Eloise.
That's all, folks. You're not aware arsenic, cyanide, and strychnine have been around for ages and can have harmful effects in your body. Worst of all, don't you worry, the elderberries are already locked up.